Remembrance of fallen heroes with messages of hope. President Buhari calls on communities to embrace peace-building architecture, urges critics to be fair and constructive. Plus, Ministry of Education says school resumption date of Monday 18th January remains the same. These and more on today's Panorama. I am Tessie Omiri. You're welcome. We start off with the celebration of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day held every 15th. President Muhammadu Buhari, in company of other dignitaries, including the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, the Sergeant Chiefs of the Army, Air Force and Navy, and the Inspector General of Police, converged on the military arcade in Abuja to observe the traditional wreath laying in honor of the gallantry of the armed forces.
Remembrance Arcade to honor the unknown soldier, to honor those who are currently in the front line, to honor those who are taking part in ensuring that peace is maintained across our nation, to honor those. It is indeed a patriotic event to celebrate and honor patriots of our great nation, Nigeria.
And may the soul of the departed rest in peace. We now hand you over to our Kaduna Network Center where Suleiman is standing by.
My name is Suleiman Abdullahi Rakachkom from Kaduna Network Center. Now let's join Muhammad Umar Ajingi at Ahmadu Bello Stadium for wreath laying ceremony in Kaduna.
Thank you very much, studio. It is a memorable moment to remember the fallen heroes who had paid the ultimate price in protecting the territorial integrity of this country. Here in Kaduna State, the state deputy governor Hadiza Balarabe has just joined senior military officers, including the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, the State Commissioner of Police, as well as senior military officers, to pay tribute to these fallen heroes and as well say thank you to the veterans who are still alive. It is an emotional time for many here, particularly family members who lost their loved ones during the war, and even of recent in Borno and other troubled areas in the country while fighting different forms of crimes and criminality in the country.
Thank you, Muhammad Umar Anjigi. Before our discussion on the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, let's take this background report put together by Haruna Muhammad.
Observed on January every year to commemorate the sacrifices of the Nigerian Armed Forces. Armed Forces Remembrance activities are also to honor veterans of the World War I and II, as well as the Nigerian Civil War.
The military has rigidly maintained that notion that Nigeria should remain one.
Beyond the annual launching of emblem and laying of wreath of honor of the fallen heroes, contributions of ex-servicemen, security experts believe remain sacrosanct.
So we are calling on the government also to give necessary assistance to these fallen heroes and their families, because some of them are actually in a very terrible situation. Why I'm saying so is because I'm part and parcel of them.
Though retired, the doggedness of the ex-servicemen like Colonel John Uba suggests the resolve of these men, some of whom have paid the supreme sacrifice to contribute to national peace and security. In Kaduna, Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
With me in the studio to discuss more on the Armed Forces Remembrance Day and what it means to Nigeria's security architecture is Brigadier General Muhammad Kabir Galadanchi, retired. Retired but not tired. You are most welcome to
Suleiman. Thank you so much.
Talking about Armed Forces Remembrance Day, what is the significance of this historic event that is celebrated?
First and foremost, before we go to the significance of this thing, I want to lay a small foundation.
Okay.
I want to make Nigerians understand that members of the armed forces are not only working for government.
Okay.
Anybody who joined the armed forces have decided to give out his life, his best, in the defense of the nation and its citizens. That is why the armed forces of the nation, the members of the armed forces of the nation, are more of serving the generality, unlike other government workers who are serving a government.
In Russia, so they are serving the populace.
So they are serving the populace.
Okay.
So the essence of the celebration is for each and every Nigerian to show his appreciation to those people who have decided to sacrifice for the betterment and the good of both the nation and the citizens of the nation. Okay. Now, the mistake that sometimes people feel that the Armed Forces Remembrance Day is meant only for those who died in operation. It's not right. Yes. It is meant for anybody who has served, and even those who are still serving. Actually, the date was decided on based on our unfortunate civil war. Okay. And the date of in which the civil war was supposed to end was chosen as the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, so that we honor those who sacrificed their lives, dead or alive, or serving or retired. Okay.
Yes, an annual event, and talking about those who have sacrificed their lives for Nigeria's integration, continuous unity. How does this celebration reflect on the welfare of the ex-servicemen and then the families of the fallen heroes?
Good. I have always been discussing with people, and I always tell them, you see, we always think that, and that is why I made that platform from the beginning. Yes. We always think that it is a responsibility of government to take care of the welfare of the retired personnel and the existing. Remember, I said that for every person who decides to join the armed forces, he is doing that representing his family, representing his community, representing his state, and representing the nation. Okay. Now, as much as the government pays them salary and other benefits based on what will make them happy, they are doing it on behalf of the citizen. Now, what we fail to understand is that the man from your family who has joined the armed forces and unfortunately has lost his life, or even he has retired and he is weak now to do something, what can you do to support his family? Okay. In addition to what government is doing, what can the local community do to support the family of that person? What can his local government and his state government? Up to now, every day we are talking about what the federal government is doing or what it is not doing. But I have not had one single community that says, this our child who has gone to sacrifice for our own well-being. What can we do to enhance the education of his children? Okay. I have not heard any local government saying that we are giving land to this man who has gone and to defend us and so that he can build a house. I have not seen any state government that will say that this man, apart from being a staff of, or a soldier with the federal government, what are we doing to his family when we heard that he is dead or he is retired? So we need to all sit down and honor these people if we really want to show our appreciation to them.
So in all of these national security issue of integration and progress are very germane or very central. What lessons can we draw from the sacrifices of the fallen heroes?
Well, the lesson we should draw is that sometimes we tend to politicize the sacrifices of our heroes who have fought for us, who are wounded, who are dead. You see, if a soldier goes out to fight on behalf of the nation and he dies or he is wounded, there is nothing about being unhappy about that. The only thing Nigerians will do, or individuals will do, is to honor that person because he has laid down his life for us to live. You understand? Okay. So the question of people shouting, using politics that, no, soldiers are dying in operation, soldiers are dying in northeast, northwest, this and that. No, for a soldier who died to bring peace to this nation, what we need to do is to come out and honor him, not to go about castigating other people that they allow his death. He went there. That is what he signs for, okay, so that I and you can live.
Thank you very much, Brigadier General Muhammad Kabir Galadanchi, retired but not tired, for coming to the program.
Thank you so much.
Panorama continues after this short break. Please stay tuned.
The Council of our Fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
I believe we have fought one civil war too many in this country. So those who experience it will run away from it.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
Moving on now, President Muhammadu Buhari has called on Nigerians, especially the elites, to be fair in their criticism of his administration. This is while receiving in audience the Executive Secretary, Nigeria Christian Pilgrims Commission, Reverend Yakubu Pam. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that Reverend Pam was in the State House to submit reports on the Commission's peace-building efforts in parts of the country.
I feel that those who are criticizing the administration should be fair in terms of reflecting where we were before we came, where we are now, and what resources were available to us to have done what we did.
President Muhammadu Buhari expressed the conviction that his administration is not leaving anything to chance in his commitment towards meeting genuine public aspirations for the good of all.
You tell me any of the developed countries or the developing countries that succeeded without infrastructure. And the infrastructure are roads, rail, and power. The government is doing its best, and I hope eventually our best will be good enough.
And apart from the numerous achievements recorded in addressing the nation's infrastructure deficit, the federal government, he said, is also not relenting in dismantling obstacles to national security and socio-economic well-being, saying the welfare of the IDPs, for instance, remains paramount on the agenda of government.
I am more inclined to feel very, very sorry for the young, because the rate and the time they are supposed to get education, we must not allow that time to pass, because it will never be regained. So what is happening in the IDPs, we are interested and we are doing our best.
The President commended the Executive Secretary of the Christian Pilgrims Commission on his peace-building efforts around the country and assured him of the listening ear of the government whenever attention is desired to certain issues. Reverend Yakubu Pam had intimated the President with some of the activities of the Commission since his appointment, including the Peace Summit he organized on Southern Kaduna, as well as peace-building initiatives in Plateau, Benue, Taraba and Nasarawa states.
I humbly appreciate Mr. President's vision on peace building, continuous engagement of our local communities in dialogue as a means of resolving dispute will bring about lasting peace in Nigeria as a whole. Perpetrators of crime must be punished and victims must get justice.
Reverend Yakubu Pam announced plans to host Christian religious leaders in a summit as part of efforts by the Commission to, amongst others, help douse pressures within the polity. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
15th is commemorated every year as Armed Forces Remembrance Day. This year's celebration will also provide ample opportunities to chronicle current landmark achievements by the Nigerian military in tackling security challenges in the land. Defense correspondent Naja'atu Tijani reports on the security checklist as provided by the presidency.
From highlights of Defense Headquarters coordinated operations in 2020 to projections concerning military operations in 2021, the security checklist proffered by the presidency on the occasion of Armed Forces Remembrance Day is full of commendation for past victory and expected progress. On internal security, the presidency says Boko Haram is much weaker today than in 2015, as attested to by the governor of Borno State, who said, quote, "Today, Bama is coming back to life, and so is Askira Uba, Damboa, Goza, and others. Life is even returning to Baga. This was impossible before Buhari." The armed forces of Nigeria, comprising the Nigerian Army, Nigerian Navy, and Nigerian Air Force, from 18 March to December 2020, neutralized 2,403 criminal elements across the country, in addition to scores of other terrorists and armed bandits killed during airstrikes. Equally, 1,910 criminal elements were arrested, and a large cache of arms, ammunition, and equipment were recovered during the period. The military also carried out several missions and operations in the South-South. More than 8 million liters of stolen AGO automated gas oil and more than 33 million liters of dual-purpose kerosene were impounded by troops of Operation Delta Safe and other Nigerian Navy patrols. Troops immobilized a total of 185 illegal refining sites, 85 dugout pits, and more than 100 metal storage tanks within the period. In the southwest, troops of Operation Awasi impounded a total of more than 10 million liters of premium motor spirit, more than 15,000 barrels of stolen crude oil, and 345,000 liters of stolen automated gas oil. In the northeast, the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Doli in different airstrikes neutralized notorious Boko Haram terrorist commanders. Meanwhile, since 2015, the Nigerian military has continued to achieve success in the northeast. Specifically, the revitalization of the multinational joint task force comprising Nigeria and her neighbors, relocation of the military command and control center to Maiduguri in June 2015. Since then, several towns and villages have been reclaimed from Boko Haram, and thousands of hostages have been freed from terrorist enclaves. And in the projection for 2021 to 2022, the federal government continues to invest heavily in military hardware, including 23 new aircraft which have already been delivered and inducted into service, while another 18 manned aircraft and 8 unmanned combat aerial vehicles are being awaited. This is in addition to attack boats, patrol vessels, armored tanks, and other platforms. The Army established the special mobile strike teams in the northeast, while the Air Force has established and continues to establish new bases in various parts of the northwest and north central. And with the launch of Exercise Temokoyazu on 2nd January 2021, the Nigerian Air Force conducted a joint combat search and rescue special forces and air police canine simulation exercise at Rijana village along Kaduna-Abuja highway. With these achievements, the presidency says the ground is set for more successes in 2021 and beyond. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
Media operation says more than 80 insurgents and bandits have been neutralized as the military sustained its aggressive approach towards the elimination of criminal elements terrorizing parts of the country. Coordinator of the operation, Major General John Enenche, made this known to journalists in Abuja during an update of military engagements across the country. Abubakar Usman Akwanga has the details.
the 9 operations we have. And
at the weekly briefing, the coordinator of Defense Media Operations, Major General John Enenche, reveals that forces of Operation Lafayette Dole air component neutralized many bandits, recovered rusted livestock, while few soldiers sustained injury in an encounter with Boko Haram and ISWAP in Kaurana Moda. A major breakthrough in the onslaught of insurgents in Goneri, Goji and Gujba at Alagama village in Sambisa by Operation Turata Kebangu continued with domination of West Theater of Operation. 30 terrorists were killed in another encounter and several equipment and weapons belonging to Boko Haram terrorists destroyed in Yobe State. In North Central, Operation Wild Stroke and Safe Haven neutralized bandits and rescued kidnapped victims in Mararaba Odege in Nasarawa State and apprehended cultists, recovered rusted cattle in Kuru, Plateau State. Operation Delta Safe intercepted and arrested 1,184 of 25 bags of Yaroliva Nitraba fertilizer suspected to be smuggled from Cameroon.
Security is everybody's business, and the general public is a major focus, very, very important in the architecture of security or securing your area or the whole nation at large.
The Nigerian Navy, in collaboration with Forward Operating Base ex-Cravos, conducted anti-crude oil theft operation and discovered 215,000 liters. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
And latest figures from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, indicates 1,479 new cases of coronavirus in 24 states and the FCT, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 105,478 in Nigeria. Lagos reported 679 new cases, followed by the FCT, which recorded 201. Nasarawa has 80, Plateau 74, Rivers 62, Edo 46, Adamawa 43, Osun 39, and Akwa Ibom 35. Other states recording new cases are Delta with 31, Anambra 27, Oyo 24, Kano State 21, Abia and Enugu 19 cases each, Ogun 18, Sokoto 12, Bauchi and Taraba 7 new cases each, Ekiti, Gombe and Imo 4 new cases, Bayelsa and Jigawa 2, and Zamfara 1, Lagos, the FCT, Plateau and Kaduna remains the top on the breakdown of the cases per states, with 20,243 active cases being managed across the country. 3,830 cases have been discharged, while the death toll has risen to 1,405. Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 has debunked a fake statement making the rounds on the social media of an imminent total lockdown in the country. PTF National Coordinator Dr. Sani Aliyu in a video message asked the general public to disregard the fake news.
We are aware of a fake message that's been going around on WhatsApp that we've declared a lockdown of the country. This is absolutely not true. I'm calling on the general public to please ignore this message and continue with their normal activities. I'm also calling on the public to make sure that you abide by our non-pharmaceutical interventions, including wearing a face mask in public, washing hands, and keeping your physical distance. There's an established way that we send out messages to the public, including declarations when it comes to infection control. So please ignore what's been going around on WhatsApp. Thank you.
Ministry of Education maintains that the school resumption date of Monday, 18th January, still remains. A statement from the ministry indicates that the decision was reached after a comprehensive meeting with state governors, commissioners of education, proprietors of private schools, and heads of institutions, unions, parents, and students association to appraise the situation. It directs parents and respective institutions to ensure full compliance with COVID-19 protocols, such as compulsory wearing of face masks by all students, teachers and workers. The statement encouraged schools to ensure temperature checks and hand washing facilities at strategic locations, constant supply of water and sanitizers, enforcement of maintenance of social distancing, and suspension of large gatherings such as assembly and visiting days. It also called for other measures including limitations in class sizes and hostel occupancy, availability of functional health clinics with facilities for isolation and transportation of suspected cases to medical facilities amongst other non-pharmaceutical protocols. And that is the Panorama. Thank you for watching.